Hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of All in Our Business Podcast, the show where we discuss hot and controversial relationship topics while sharing our love journey along the way. I'm your host, TC.
And I'm your girl, Kiki.
And hey, we got a couple of shout outs this week. I want to send a special shout out to one of my coworkers at the gym, Bethany. She's one of our loyal listeners, and she's also always on our Instagram liking our reels and our stories. So we sending a shout out to her.
Hey, Bethany. Thank you. We appreciate you. Also, we want to shout out Aunt Charlene is what I call her. She's always reminding us that she's listening to each and every episode. So we appreciate you, Auntie. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in.
Shout out to my cousin Bo and my cousin Devlin.
Thanks,
Devlin Jr., of course. Three extremely loyal listeners, so we thank all three of y'all for listening in every week.
Absolutely. We want to do another shout out definitely to Mr. Marlin. He definitely agreed with me in last week's episode that no woman should be rubbing on my TC's head.
Now, of course, he ain't get the whole story, so we're going to let it slide.
We're going to let it slide. But thank you, Marlon. Thank you.
Yeah.
We want to also thank Charlene. She just tuned in.
Another one of my coworkers, she was binging it on Friday. She listened to like 3 or 4 episodes while I was sitting there with her. And of course, she kept stopping to ask me questions about the show. And what do you do when this happens? What do you do when this happens? So
she was like, if this show was out, she was like, this show was out 30 years ago.
I really needed it. So shout out to Charlene.
Thank you, Charlene. And also, we want to say thank you to everyone who sent in fan mail last week. We asked that you check in with us and you communicate with us, and a few people, actually about 3 or 4 people sent in fan mail, so we thank you. A few people were anonymous, and we understand that, respect your privacy, so thank you for reaching out. And of course, Mama Ross, she reached out and she gave us some feedback as well, so we appreciate it. We thank you so much. And thank you to everyone that we didn't mention in this week, but we always do mention, and thank you to everyone else who has been listening. We greatly appreciate you, because without you, there will be no us. I mean, there will still be us, but it won't be as great. So thank you. Keep tuning in. Share. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to give us just 45 minutes of your life, just once a week. Tune in.
We'll take that.
Listen, yeah. So I know we had, like I said, a lot of fan mail from last week, because that was like one of our most controversial
definitely.
episodes thus far.
Everybody had an opinion on it.
They did. And I just wanted to close the conversation out and also just recap to remind everybody that I do know that I have the most amazing man walking on this earth. Mr. TC, I love you so very much. I try to tell you all the time privately, but I think I should tell you publicly that I really appreciate you. If I had to choose you, I would definitely choose you all over again. So I thank you.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And I'm definitely not at all insecure, and I'm sure you've seen that in our relationship time and time again. But I am still a woman. I'm still human.
That you are.
And just like we both are, we're human beings at the core of us. So even myself, people understand our relationship, but people probably don't understand in our relationship that we like to joke.
We do.
So last week it was just, it was some yeast added to what really happened. So I have to confess and tell other listeners there definitely was some yeast. It wasn't a whole bunch of rubbing and licking in the ear and things.
Exactly.
Things of that nature. But no, it did occur. And for the sake of the conversation, then only thing that TC and I both agreed on was that even though I didn't necessarily say that he got to slap a woman's hand, because that's not him, and he would never do anything like that. He's the most respectful man I've ever met. And one of the reasons why I did fall in love with him is because he's very truthful and trustworthy. And that's literally a standard of mine. And you've shown that you displayed that the entire time. So I've never questioned your honesty or anything of that nature, or your character when it comes to that. But I do know that women can be manipulative sometimes. So I'm just saying that we have to make sure that we get in front of those situations. And I think we both agree with that ultimately.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay. And even on that note, I would like to say,
talk to me.
I got pretty thick skin, and
I know when say something real.
No, I don't take things serious.
Good.
A lot of times. So you coming at me last week was not a big deal for me. As I told you right afterwards, it's not a big deal, baby. I enjoyed the back and forth. I thought that was one of our best episodes, just for the banter and how we went. You know, as my man Kevin say all the time, sometimes you gotta take an L to get a W. So, you know, if me taking the L last week was the W, which is you, wifey, I'll take that.
Okay, thank you.
I'll take that L. I take that L every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
You are the greatest. Thank you, baby.
Yeah,
I love you.
And let's get to this episode. Hopefully this one just as juicy as last week's.
Oh, it's gonna be juicy. So I hope y'all leaning in and ready to listen.
Hopefully y'all got your bottle of wine. Got that bubble bath ran for that woman or for that man. I hope you got everything situated. So sit back. We about to go there.
Okay. So let's just get right into it. What is intimacy and romance?
Hey, what you doing? You skipping past.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, we got to do that scripture first before you.
No, I said I was going to say, so kick us off with the scripture, babe.
My bad.
Slow down. Okay. I know you want. I know what you got.
I'm trying to get this over with tonight. We got a nice glass of bottled wine on the table. We got some flowers for my baby.
And a whole spread of food.
We got candles. I done cooked dinner.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Not just dinner. Steak, my favorite way.
Steak, some spinach, some baked potato.
Crab legs, some shrimp.
Hey, I did my thing. So
you did.
I'm trying to set that mood tonight, y'all. So y'all, hey, this might be a short episode. Just letting you know.
Right, I'm sure all of yesterday runs over to today. So today.
Yesterday's yesterday. That's gone. We gotta do today.
Oh, let's get into this topic, please. So anyway, kick us off with the scripture, sweetheart.
Yes. So Proverbs 5:19. She is a loving deer, a graceful doe. Let her breast satisfy you always. May you always be captivated by her love.
Lovely. That's great. Okay, so we're going to keep that scripture in mind tonight as we go into this episode.
You got that right.
Oh, you just the cheese and just the everything. Okay.
Let them breasts satisfy me.
Okay, let's get into it, babe. Let's try to make it. Okay, yeah. How do you define romance?
Well, romance is, I call it romance is the physical of what you're trying to do. So a lot of times you see romance in movies. It's, all that nice stuff. We go on nice dinners and all that, and then have a nice night. For me, romance is sometimes just the simple things for me. Romance can be cuddling for me. I love that.
You do.
Romance can be us watching a show together and just holding hands, or just walking on the beach, or walking in the park holding hands. That's romance for me. I don't necessarily need all that big fancy stuff, but I tend to do it sometimes, but it's not a big thing. Like today, I was trying to surprise her today. So
don't make me cry.
We're not crying, baby. This ain't no crying moment. So she was in my neighborhood. Her daughter was getting a piercing. So I tried to sneak up there and drop some roses and a card in her car while she was inside, but of course I was a little late, so I literally just called her. She was about to actually leave, so I just kind of pulled up beside her and said, "This was for you. I was trying to surprise you, but I was a little late in getting it done." So I handed her the roses and the card, but I was just trying to surprise my baby, just to show her my love and trying to romance her, since I know we was about to do this podcast.
Oh, that's what it was. It was a setup. So here I am about to cry.
I do that all the time.
No,
though.
You do.
Come on now.
But I think the most important part for me, as you try to quickly tell what happened, is that I gotta add some what you like to call the backstory to
go ahead.
What happened. Last night we had a long night together, just spending time together, talking and just holding each other throughout the night.
Had a date. We went on a date. Went to the movies. A late movie. Surprisingly, we both stayed awake.
Yes, we did. We had a great time. We really, really did. So this morning I said I have to wake up and it's going to be a long day. I was like, yada, 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 bam, bam, boom. Like a huge schedule, a very complicated schedule. And there's going to be a lot of ripping and running. So, and a lot of driving and everything else. So anyway, I went on made two different appointments this morning, and at the third appointment, when it came time for my daughter, I finally got there, and it was around 1:30.
1:30.
Okay. Yeah, in the afternoon. So it was the afternoon, and I was still kind of tired. And it's funny because the lady that was piercing my daughter asked, "Where's your man at?" Because she's so used to you coming to the spot.
Right.
Because you've taken our daughter there before, so she's so used to you being there. So anyway, I was like, "Oh, he's home. He's at the gym right now. He's home, and then he'll be home or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, okay." not knowing that when I left to go outside, you were pulling up.
Right.
So you're pulling up. My daughter's in the car like, why is Mr. TC here? Like, what's going on? She see him like flying in with the truck. And I'm like, I don't know. So she's looking like, uh-oh. And then when you gave me the flowers, she was like, oh. And I'm like, oh. So it was so beautiful. And just, I think for you to just take time out, like I said, it was that moment of just us being super busy, having a lot of things going on, and you just saying, I just want to do something for you special. So when we talk about romance and the small things are often the big things, and that really touched my heart. So thank you.
I'm always thinking about you, baby. So I try to do little small things like that from time to time, just to surprise you one, and then still show you my love. And like I said, those little small things are romance.
Absolutely.
Or romantic.
Right.
Sometimes you find it romantic. Sometimes you might not. I don't know.
Yeah.
You have to give me that yes or no. But I think some of the things I do, I'm doing it because I love you, and I want to show you my love. So
yeah. You do. And that's what I think. I think definitely that romance is an emotional attraction. It's definitely, like you said, the actions and the feelings that demonstrate affection, love, and desire between partners. And then it involves expressing love in a way that's intentional, like you just mentioned, unmistakable, and deeply caring. And this definitely can be done in grand gestures, because those are great, but also in small, everyday acts of affection. And that's what we talk about all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Now, because we're talking about romance and intimacy, let's define intimacy right quick.
Let me give you the definition. This is Webster's definition. The state of being intimate, familiarity, something of a personal or private nature. So I guess if you really think about the way I describe intimacy, is really looking and seeing into that person's soul almost. Mm-hmm. You can see exactly what they have going on, where you can feel certain things that they got going on in their life, even though you're not necessarily feeling it or doing it with them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So there's times I can just kind of feel my baby's having a bad day, or I can feel she's not herself today for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And I might not know what it is, but I know maybe I can do something, a small gesture, a romantic gesture, to try to get a smile on her face, or get her out the funk of what she has going on, and vice versa. She does that all the time for me. And she was like, what's going on, TC? You good? Everything all right? And then she'll just pop up and do something, and I'm like, oh. Mm-hmm. And, sometimes that eases whatever we have going on, at least for the moment.
Absolutely.
So I think that's good in a relationship, to definitely have intimacy where you can feel when your partner's off.
Absolutely, yeah. When I think of intimacy, I think of like a deep connection with someone. I think like it's beyond the romance, it's beyond the emotion, like it's that deep connection. And I feel like we've always had that, and we talk about that all the time, where that it allows you to be vulnerable and feeling emotionally and even physically close to each other. So it's beyond attraction for me. Like also goes into like emotional intelligence, like communication and affection, and just your desire to constantly just be like so deeply close with that person. We say this all the time. I think, matter of fact, I think it was like one day during this week, we hadn't seen each other in 2 or 3 days or whatever, because we had busy schedules, whatever going on. And I said, babe, maybe we should just hang out this weekend and have some quality time together. And I was like, you come pick me up, I'll stay with you. And then we ended up going to the movie last night, and you stayed over at my house last night. So just that couple of hours of just me and you, nobody else, nothing else going on, just talking. I think we was watching the game or whatever, and just chilling. That's the kind of stuff. You call it chilling? Yeah. I ain't talking about that. I mean, that wasn't chilling. Putting in work. But just those quality, quality time. You need those moments. You definitely
where it's just you and your partner, where y'all can connect on a deeper level.
Absolutely.
Just put your phone away, and of course the kids will text us when we got but we'll quickly answer and then go back to just cuddling and just holding each other. Just doing what we love to do, being in each other's presence. Yeah, and I think sometimes you don't have to say anything. You can just hold in each other. Yeah. And just like you said, just that closeness. So let me ask, for those, we're gonna just talk about romance right quick, and then we'll get back to intimacy. So for romance, like how are you able to show that in a relationship? What does that look like? It looks like a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things that people can see or think is romance or consider romance. Dates can be you can have romantic dates. You can go on romantic walks. You can have a picnic. You can go to a play. You can go to a concert. Anything can be romantic if you make it that. There was a couple of, I don't remember when it was. Well, I know exactly when it was because the day is October the 26th. That's the day I technically asked her to be my girlfriend. So, I painted some wooden letters and spread them across the bed, put some rose petals down, had some candles going, and I just proposed that she be my girlfriend.
I was getting excited.
Yeah, well, Lord have mercy, it's coming, babe.
I'm just teasing you. No, you did. And that was beautiful.
And
that's a great night.
That's just a romantic gesture. And didn't cost a lot of money. It wasn't all that, no big deal. I just knew I wanted to kind of surprise her and do something because she'd been saying for a while, you're not really my boyfriend because you never really asked me, as she said. So I was like, okay, let me take that.
Right.
So I took it and I ran with it.
Right.
And she was so surprised when she walked in. I had the rose petals all over the floor and everything, music playing. She was so surprised.
Yeah.
But just that little gesture.
Absolutely.
Made her day.
It did, yeah.
Or at least I hope it did.
No, it did. I just confirmed it. It did.
Confirmation.
Definitely. Yes. So let me ask you, what is the most romantic thing that you've said?
Well, I hope I'm right in saying this. Kiki loves when I express to her how I desire her. I tell her softly in her ear, get her a little worked up. Yeah, it does. So just telling her that, like I say this all the time to her. She's so beautiful. She's gorgeous. She's sexy. She's so intelligent. I love everything about her. And I tell her that all the time. And I think a couple episodes ago, I told her I adore her. And I'm not joking when I say that. I legit adore her. So I just want to express those things in words to her. And then also show her physically, I'm not going nowhere. I love you. I want to show you that every single day that I have a chance to.
Thank you. Likewise. So what do you think has been the most romantic thing I've said to you?
I don't know. You call me handsome all the time. I can honestly say I've never had a woman tell me that.
Really?
Not consistently, not like you do.
Oh,
now,
wow.
I've had people say, oh, you're a handsome man.
Yeah.
But I've never had a woman who constantly tells me you're handsome and expresses that on a daily basis to me.
And what about when I talk about those arms, how good they go?
You want me to pump them right now?
Yeah. And let me see them legs. Yes, sir. You look so good.
You want me to get naked?
Okay, never mind. Yes, you're right. Okay.
We gotta keep this show clean.
You're right. Yeah. Gino said this is clean. Okay, so do men want to experience romance in a relationship?
I can't speak for other men, but for me, yes, I want Kiki to want me. That turns me on when she wants to, or she wants to initiate the physical stuff in our relationship.
Right.
When she wants to kiss me or she wants to hold me, that turns me on.
It does.
It really does.
No, 100%.
So I can't speak for no other man, but for me, that turns me on to know my woman desires me just as much as I desire her.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you do. You express that.
So what about you?
Do women want to receive romance? Absolutely.
Some women don't.
Okay, I haven't come across a woman that be like, I don't want it. I think sometimes maybe for women, we want it done in a certain way. So let me say that.
Okay, I can see that.
So a way that a man may do it may not be the same way that a woman want to receive it.
That is very true.
Yes.
So that's important.
So let's say, for example, if I say, oh, I like flowers, and you just go get me the flowers, and I come home and you just throw them on the bed or something like that. And I'm like...
Yeah, that's not... Yeah, I got you. That's not really romantic.
So romantic is presenting them. Sweetheart, you are just as beautiful as these flowers.
I'm giving
See what I'm
you.
saying?
Yeah.
So you already know. That's why you mine. Because you already know.
Yeah.
No, so again, I think all women do want to receive that. But I think maybe the way that they receive it from their man is the way that should be changed, perhaps, and doesn't meet the mark for them. I think that's just more the problem. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask this question. What is romantic to a woman versus a man? Does romance look different for men than women?
And I think that kind of just touched on that. Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes, but then I think it just depends on a relationship and a couple. Because what I think is romantic is also romantic to you.
That's true. That is true.
You'd be like, oh, yeah, that's very romantic. Or if I go and put something on, this isn't, you can tell me when this is too much.
Oh, no, babe. I have no problem sharing.
Okay, so no, if I go put something on nice and appealing for you even more than what my typical clothes are, and turn on some music and maybe, do a dance for you or talk to you, and then we kind of lay down and do something.
Show over. See, let's go.
Okay. I was trying to.
Go ahead. Where's the outfit? Go pick that.
Which one? Oh, okay, no.
Pink, black.
Anything. Yeah,
and I'm going to share this, and I'm hoping you're fine with this. Mm-hmm. I pray you are. I tend to buy things for her that I would love to see her in.
You do.
And the beauty of it is she has no problem wearing them. Mm-hmm. She was like, oh, and I'll send her, maybe a link or whatever and say, what you think about this? Mm-hmm. And she go, oh, that's cute. Yeah, I like that. And then I'll end up getting it for her because I look at things and I look at them how I think they would look on her. So lingerie, certain things, I'll buy just for her.
Yeah, you will.
And the beauty of it, she don't have a problem putting it on.
No, not at all. But also there's times that you haven't showed me things. You just wanted to surprise me and get them, and you have gotten it for me. And I said, I appreciate, I feel like that's very kind. So as a result, I want to put them on for you and wear them for you because you thought enough for me to say, oh, I think you would look beautiful in this and you look sexy in this. And then also I think some women, well, not maybe some, probably, I would say some women, because we are women, sometimes we have some insecurities about ourselves, So, but when I put the items on or put the clothing on and show you, you're like, oh my God, like every time it's like the first, exactly. So I'm more, what is it? Yeah, absolutely, definitely, yeah. So I think also, how your partner responds matters because you can be with somebody that you put the stuff on for and they just like, oh, all right.
Mm-hmm. And the beauty of it is I tell her, you ain't going to have it on long anyway.
All the time.
Really?
Yeah, all the time.
It ain't going to be on long?
Yes. So, yes, I agree.
So if you're uncomfortable, be assured it ain't going to be on too long.
Very true. So, yeah, I think romance looks different to women than to men sometimes. But once you kind of gotten consistent in your relationship or together, you're on a good path together or you're able to, I think it kind of looks the same for both people. And I think we're kind of there where romance looks the same for both of us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I truly think both people have to be romantic in the relationship.
Yeah, it shouldn't be on one person.
I'm the only one who do romance in this relationship. No, because then that other person's going to feel like that I'm doing everything.
Absolutely.
They're not going to feel like, that person's putting in any effort.
Absolutely.
If I'm the only one, let's do something romantic tonight, or I set the mood, and then let's just say that other person just kind of blah, just laying there. Mm-hmm. That's not what the relationship is. It has to be both sides want to experience romance in your relationship.
Yeah.
You really do.
But there are times, I think, where maybe one partner have to lead it a little bit more than the other partner, which goes into the next question, like how can you teach your partner how to be romantic? And I think you can. You can definitely teach your partner how to be romantic. Number one, by talking, like telling them this is what I like, this is what I love, this is what will really turn me on. And I think the other partner has to, when you're in a relationship, for me, when you're in a relationship to make you feel safe, you're open to doing anything with that person.
That is true. And I would going to say the same thing, of course. I think you can. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're in tune with your sexuality and you aren't ashamed to let your partner know how you like things done in the bedroom or what you want done to you. Mm-hmm. Of course, as long as it's nothing crazy, but, everybody wants their desires or needs filled in the relationship. But if you don't express that to your partner and they don't know, she likes me rubbing her feet.
Right.
I don't know that.
But there are also times when you may not even know yourself, because I think sometimes scenarios you and I both came into the relationship and we didn't know, I like this. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it wasn't until we just, like you said, the first thing you said, like feel comfortable, to be able to feel comfortable in your sexuality.
Right.
And we were able to determine like, this is something that we really do enjoy.
We should explore it. We really should.
Yeah. So how do you build the romance in a relationship?
Prioritize your communication, your needs to that partner.
Okay, so prioritize your needs and
Openly communicate that to them.
Good. Okay.
Show appreciation, affection to that person. That's important.
That is so important, babe.
It is. If you go, they're doing gestures for you and you just kind of ignore it, they're going to stop doing it.
Absolutely.
And now
that is really big.
You have a disconnect because the person who was the romance person is no longer even doing the romance. Now you don't have anything.
Hello.
So yeah, that's definitely important.
Yeah.
Making efforts just to stay connected and reconnect.
That is so true.
As needed.
That is so true.
We needed last night.
We did.
Because both of us just had crazy busy weeks.
Absolutely.
And, there was a couple nights this week where, as we shared, we talked, fall asleep on the phone together. We didn't even get a chance to do that because I literally passed out, she passed out. Right. And we didn't even get a chance to call each other back.
Right.
To get on the phone, we didn't get to say our prayer for that night or whatever because we were just so exhausted from the day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we really needed just a moment to connect. Just to, have some quality time, just me and her.
Yeah.
Not the kids, not work, not anything else. Just me and her just talking and just holding each other, just enjoying each other.
Yeah. But it's good that we recognize that, right? Because I think sometimes we can go for a long, extended period of time and you're like, something is off and I don't know. I don't have time to really address it right now. Or we know that it's an issue and I just don't want to resolve it, whatever the case may be. And you can go a long period of time without addressing it and then later on realize, okay, something's missing here in a relationship. So I do think that romance is needed. It's essential in a relationship if you ask me.
Why do you think so?
I definitely think so because without desire and like me, like you said, you want to adore that person. Like if I didn't adore you, then I think the love fades or the desire or what we have for each other fades. And you don't want that.
No, you don't.
Yeah. And you understanding the importance of practicing romance in a relationship to add spark to your love life or to prolong the feelings of the connectiveness and also result in the ultimately happiness that we have for our relationship. So you need those romantic moments.
You definitely do.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've discussed romance, let's get to intimacy.
Okay, we're taking it up a notch. Let's get into it. So like we said, intimacy is a deeper connection, right, with someone, and it's feeling emotionally and physically close with that person. A sense of closeness and connection built through shared experiences, I would say, open communication, also mutual trust. So this goes beyond just that physical attraction, and it can involve emotional, intellectual, and spiritual elements. So why do you think intimacy is important?
Honestly, I think it's the lifeblood of a relationship.
Really?
I really do. Because if you don't have that closeness or that intimate moment with your partner, you don't really get to ever really know them to that level. And it's hard to say, I love this person if you don't really know them.
Know that person
to that level. So I think intimacy is a very, very important part of the relationship.
Oh, wow.
For me, I think it connects directly with love. Everything, the definition we gave of love in the first episode, it encompasses all of that with intimacy. Because you're giving of yourself. You're not thinking about anything else. You're not worried about records. You're not worried. You're not boasting. You're not doing none of that. You're just connecting with the person on a day-to-day basis and getting to know them even more intimate. Like we say this all the time. We get to know each other more intimate every single day.
And we're like, how is that even possible?
Right. Even though we've been dating for about 2 years now, almost, but we still get to know each other on an intimate level. Even when we have little dust-ups, we get to know each other on a more intimate level.
Absolutely. No, we really do. Yeah, we don't understand it, but we keep saying that it just continues to build and build and build. So I think that there's a misconception that intimacy involves sex or touching each other, physical touch or something of that nature.
I think some of that touching, some of that physical stuff is more so the romance. The intimacy can be us doing something we love doing together.
Yeah.
Like, you know I love to cook. So our intimate moment for us is when, and you do this on all the time, you'll be like, babe, what you cooking tonight? And you'll come in there, you're not the person who wants to cook.
No.
You don't. Mm-hmm. But you'll come in there and you'll at least, so what are you doing, babe? Oh, how you be cutting stuff like that? Da, da, da. And for me, that's intimate because that's something I love to do. I love to cook. And just the mere fact that you are willing to come in and do something that you're not necessarily willing, not great at doing or whatever, and you want to do it with me, is making it an intimate moment. Just like, the example I give with the books.
Absolutely.
You love reading books. So intimate moments for me is to sit there and read the book to you. And you just be laying on my chest, just listening to me read the book.
Absolutely.
Those are small little intimate moments.
Yes.
You could be playing board games. Trying a new sport together.
Absolutely. All of that. I think those are all.
Running a race together.
Exactly.
Maybe
Great
training
examples.
for a 5K or a marathon or something.
Any of that.
Taking a class together.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about, we need to learn how to swim. So we're going to take the swimming lessons probably this summer because we want to be able to swim.
Absolutely.
So just stuff like that is intimate.
Now, can you have love without intimacy?
I really don't think that's possible. As I just said, I think love and intimacy, they go together.
Right.
They really are partners.
So let me ask you, do you feel as if you're intimate with me all throughout the day?
I think so.
Am I intimate with you throughout the day?
I think we both are because we constantly talking. We're always texting back and forth. And it's funny, we look at our text like a week later and we let's say we're looking for something from our text. And we're both swiping down for 10, 15 minutes trying to find it because we don't realize how much we text throughout the day or even talk throughout the day.
Right.
We'll be sending each other reels, and it's ridiculous how much interaction we have with each other throughout the day. And that's extremely important in our relationship. That's what keeps us grounded. That's what keeps us connected. And I never want to give that up. I don't, like I said, a couple of days this week, we just fell asleep not being on the phone together.
Yeah.
And those were the oddest. I woke up in the morning like, something's off. Like I just felt like I was off because I'm used to waking up in the morning and I see your picture on my phone because we've been sitting on the phone for 7 hours.
Right.
And I woke up and, of course, I done passed out, so I lights still on. I still got my clothes on. I really was that exhausted from the day that I didn't get a chance to call you. So.
Yeah. And also, we have to understand, and we've even talked about this, that sometimes you get so used to the routine of things that you forget that some life goes on. Life happens, life occurs, and even when we do have those moments, the best thing about it is understanding that and then being able to reconnect quicker. Definitely, yeah. So with that, are there ways to fix intimacy in a relationship?
Of course, there's a way to fix anything.
Okay, how?
You can call it a love mechanic if you want. No, but I mean open communication, of course, always is important. Always being able to communicate to your partner. Well, you can tell them, look, babe, just something seems a little off. I don't know what it is. Do you think we can, talk about it? And maybe even explore new activities.
That's what I was going to say.
Try some new things that you've never done before.
Absolutely.
Go some new places you've never been before.
Yeah.
That's a way to, become intimate because especially like when we went to Puerto Rico the first time, of course. For us, that was crazy because we knew nothing about what the signs and everything when we was there.
So that was a learning experience.
So everything was a learning experience. We was like getting lost like everywhere we were going because nothing's in English.
Yeah.
Although that's U.S. territory.
Yeah. But nothing is.
Go looking for a Starbucks and couldn't find it, even though the GPS is saying there's a Starbucks here.
Go inside and we get cursed out.
But then even one of the things that we did when we were there, we jumped off. We were supposed to go for just the water slide, the waterfalls. It's a little slide, natural slide. But we didn't realize when we got up there, we had to jump off the cliff to get back down. So we both jumped off, 40-foot cliff into the water.
Don't remind me.
As I said just a few minutes ago, we need to learn how to swim. So neither one of us know how to swim.
And then one of the tour guides told us this was her first
I hope
week.
she was joking, but she was. It was her first day.
Oh, God.
And
It's only
she
by
said, "I was like,
God's
I don't know how to swim either."
That makes sense because she said she couldn't do anything for her life vest.
Yeah, so she was in the water. I'm like, lady, if I drown, I'm coming back for you. Matter of fact, they was going through the rules, and they was like, there's 3 rules that you have to do. I said, no. Mm-hmm. There are 4 rules. Y'all better make sure I come back up out of that water.
Hello.
That's the 4th rule. That's probably the most important one. I don't care about the other 3.
Right.
But that's something we did together that brought us closer together because she was terrified. And I was a little terrified, but...
You were terrified, too.
I had to show a little macho and be like, we're going to go ahead and do this. Mm-hmm. So the whole way, I'm just making sure she's good.
But that was another moment when we talk about intimacy, and I've told you this before. That was another moment. Getting up to the cliff, we had to go through the rainforest. And then there were portions where we had to somehow go through like a little
cave, area.
Right, but even before that, remember we were in some water. We had to. We were in. I don't even know what kind of water we were in.
Who knows?
I don't know. Was it like a river or something that we were in?
I guess a stream.
Okay, yes.
I'll call it a stream, I guess. But it was deep.
It was deep. So that's the thing. First, we were able to feel the bottom, and then at one portion, you just got to the place you couldn't even feel the bottom.
I think they said to tell us that area, the depth was like 28 feet. So
yes. And we're just sitting no bottom, and all of a sudden, like you go from walking on the ground to not on the ground, nothing. I'm like, oh my gosh! And I remember in that moment, TT just looked back, and I know he was terrified. Like, what is this? I've never experienced this. But he literally looked back, and he was like, "Come on, you okay? You got it. Like, I'm here with you. You're gonna make it." And I was like, "Oh my God!" And it was then when I was like, "Oh yeah, he's definitely for me." Yeah. So, like I said, with ways to fix intimacy, I do think you have to prioritize that quality time.
You definitely do. You most definitely do.
You do. Because life is always going to life.
Life is going to life,
right?
as I like to say. But you really got to find time. Mm-hmm. I don't care if it's just 10, 15 minutes.
Absolutely.
Like, we literally just went to the movies yesterday.
We did, yeah. I called you and I was like, I think we were trying to see if we were going to hang out or just come to someone's house or whatever. And I was like, let's go to the movies. We haven't gone in a long time. And at first you were like, I'm a little tired tonight. And I was like, you never tell me you're tired. So for you to say that you're tired, I was like, he's really exhausted. He has to be. And then like 3 seconds later, I don't know what you said. He was like, all right, don't worry about it. We're going to the movies. Yeah. Let me look and see what time we stop. We really had a good time. Yeah. Really had a good time. So we needed that.
We really did.
So like you said, you have to prioritize quality time. And then you have to address any underlying emotional issues that you may have that may be holding you back from really able to tap into being intimate with your partner or even romantic as well. So you have to sit down and have those conversations. Like,
she sent me this, I think it was a Facebook reel or whatever. Was it yesterday or today? I can't remember. But it was an illustration of a man and a woman in the bed together. The guy was asleep, so he had Z's on him. And the lady was had her back to him, but she was crying. And in her little caption, it says, I love my man, but I don't want to feel like I always have to sacrifice and give myself to him. So I guess it kind of it made the perception that she was maybe didn't want to have sex that night.
Right. Well, the few illustrations before it, he had asked her. He had said, "Hey, babe, can we have sex?" And then she was like, "Yes, we can." And he was like, "Hey, is now a good time?" She was like, "Yes." Okay. So she said that, and then in the caption that you're talking about, in the illustration that you're talking about, I guess they must have had sex, and then he went to sleep because he was like, okay, I'm going to bed. Right. Yeah. And then she's sitting there and she's turned back from him and she's crying and she's saying, I feared not giving him sex because he feel like he'll get it from somewhere else. So I had to give it to him myself.
Right. But it almost like, it felt like, or I guess for her, it felt like, I'm giving myself to him, but I'm not fully prepared to do that in essence. But when you're married, guess what? Sometimes that has to happen. if your man needs a certain thing, or maybe not going to say it that way, but maybe the woman needs something.
Absolutely, because there's times I call you.
There are. There's times you call me and you be like, babe, I need something.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Lord, here we go.
I'm sorry, I'm oversharing, my bad.
Yeah,
but that's the truth.
No, yeah, definitely. But you have to be able to communicate with your partner.
But luckily, we're both grown enough. Mm-hmm. And both open enough to express that to the other person.
Absolutely.
Like, there's times I just go, babe, I really need you right now.
Mm-hmm.
I want you right now. I shouldn't be doing that on the show. Oh, my bad. Yeah, so, but I do that because I want her to know I desire her. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't never want her to feel like, oh, he don't want me.
Right. And as a woman,
he never says anything about it. He never tells me I'm beautiful.
Absolutely.
He never touches me. Nobody wants to feel like that in a relationship.
Nobody. And nobody should.
You shouldn't.
No. So I think for that illustration, for that couple, she really needs to sit down and tell him
what exactly she's dealing with emotionally.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Or maybe she don't understand it and she needs to go seek professional help. Right. And there's nothing wrong with saying this is above me, I don't know why, and I need help to save our relationship.
Yeah, very true.
Because no matter where she goes, she's going to take that mentality with her. But on those lines, and we'll talk about this in another podcast, in another episode, but oftentimes I think women feel like they are, I don't want to use the word forced, but they feel like they're inclined to have to give their man sex when they may not necessarily want to, because otherwise they always have that, if not, he's going to go out and find it elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. But even in that illustration, I think, we didn't mention this, but I think he, like 2 or 3 illustrations before that, he said, babe, are you good? Are you okay with this?
Yes.
So he was trying to reach out to make sure she was fine, because maybe he was feeling she wasn't feeling it.
Right, that's true.
But if she just kept going, yeah, I'm good, go ahead, just keep going.
Right.
Then we're men.
Right, absolutely.
We're going to go by what you tell us.
Yeah.
Now, if you say, babe, I'm sorry, I'm really not feeling this tonight. Can we maybe do it tomorrow? Yeah, no.
That's a whole nother.
No, but at least I understand where I'm not sitting there and I'm all into it.
Absolutely, and you're not. Absolutely, because you don't know. Yeah.
And that's another bad feeling for a man. A man wants to feel like you're enjoying it.
Yes.
If you're not enjoying it, we don't want that fake. Don't fake that bullshit.
Right.
Don't fake it.
Right.
If you're not feeling it, tell us. Yeah. We're fine.
Yeah.
We can take that.
And you go off of, and we've had these conversations, you know it, off air, that you are very emotional.
I go off emotions.
Yes, and feels.
When it comes to sex. I'm on emotions.
Very, very much so. So if you're not, if the emotion, and I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
That you do.
So oftentimes I wouldn't say it's necessarily conflict in that area, but you can tell if in the moment it's taking me a minute. Yeah, because of that.
No, that's very true.
I think like you said, you have to be mature to be able to openly address the issues that you have.
Definitely.
Because another thing I just want to say, we'll get to this in another podcast, that like women I think often feel required, and they say like, I have to give my man sex. Sex should be enjoyable for both partners.
It should be.
And we'll get into that in a whole nother episode, with ways that man should make sure that woman is being pleased and the woman should make sure the man is being pleased. But it shouldn't be feeling like I'm obligated to have to give something to the man, because, and especially when you're married. I mean, right now TC and I aren't married, but when we are married, that's what is like. That's what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
that's what the Bible says. Your body's not yours.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, so like I said, we'll save those topics for the next.
So let's get to this quickie, baby. Let's get to this quickie.
Let's get into it.
So, what is a romantic gesture you've always wanted to experience that you haven't yet with me, or in general, not necessarily with me, but it's gonna be with me because it ain't gonna be nobody else.
I was gonna say, who's it gonna be with?
I'm just saying.
I would say a romantic gesture that I wanted to always experience is, I think I told you, I think I sent you pictures and everything of it, of the wedding proposal, and how I wanted that to be very romantic.
Yeah, that's funny because that's my response.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, one, expressing my love to you, as well as to the world. This beautiful queen across from me. She always had this idea of a fantasy proposal, and I want to make that happen for her. And then on top of that, just her dream wedding. I mean, she didn't have a formal wedding the first time around, so I want to give her her dream wedding.
You said that. Thank you.
That's my romantic gesture that I'm working on.
You are the greatest. Thank you,
I
babe.
can put a smile on her face.
Yes, indefinitely. As you always
Permanently.
have. Exactly.
So, I mean, you got anything else you want to touch on, baby? If not, I think we done hit everything tonight.
Yeah, I think we hit everything tonight. I think we definitely focused on the differences between romance and intimacy. Just remember that both are important. TC said intimacy more than romance, but both are definitely important in your relationship. If you feel like there's areas that you can do better after hearing this podcast, or areas that you feel as if you are doing great, continue to focus on those areas that you are doing great in, I would say. And the areas that you may need improvement, just be like, okay, you know what, that's the area that I can work on.
But it's okay to step outside of your comfort zone, especially when it comes to your partner.
And I think they would appreciate that. And I do that often for you, because physical touch isn't, and we'll talk about this in another podcast, physical touch isn't my love language or my dominant one.
We'll be talking about it next week, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I know I have to step out of my comfort zone, because that is yours. So I can't love you the way that I want to. I got to love you the way you want to be loved.
Very true.
So we have to make sure that we step out of our comfort zone for the betterment of our relationship.
And vice versa. I have to step out of mine to assure her that I can love her the way she wants to be loved.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even you, like, we've had these conversations sometimes. We'll do things, and I'm like, oh, we're doing things, and it's great. And you be like, babe, and you always remind me, it's not the big things, it's the small things. It's the little small things that I enjoy or that I love so much. The other day I was sitting at work, and I came across a notebook that I hadn't seen in such a long time, and like 2 pages in, it was a love note that you had written me, and I forgot to share that to you when I was at work. I was like, look at this. And I'm kind of crazy, but I love his handwriting. I think his handwriting is sexy.
She takes that all the time. I love her handwriting, and I'm like, just like scribble scrabble to me.
It's like such the turn on for me. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, this is what a huge smile to my face. So I know.
No, it's okay. That's your thing. That is your thing. So that's fine.
I was like, this really, really, really is super cute. But I think when you're in touch with your partner and you're very close to them and you really love everything about them, it's easier.
It's easier to adjust to being somebody you're not necessarily used to.
Yes, baby. Absolutely. Yeah. Because when I do things for you, I do it because I want you to feel how I feel about you. So it's okay.
And vice versa.
Right. So it's okay if I do something that is not my typical norm. That's fine, because I want to be able to reach you and how you need to be reached. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna say thank you. Thank you again for listening to another episode of All in Our Business podcast. We have some homework for y'all tonight, though, y'all. I need y'all to participate. Okay. So I want you this week to surprise your partner with a romantic gesture, and post it on your social media and tag us.
Ooh.
Okay, so we're on Instagram. Tag us at allin.ourbusiness. Okay, I want you to tag us on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, you can tag us individually
on Facebook.
Absolutely. Okay, so just tag us. We want to see y'all
loving up
implementing and doing some of the things you hear from the podcast. So do a romantic gesture for your partner this week and post it on Instagram or tag us directly on Facebook. Can y'all do that for us?
And I'm going to challenge us for the next 7 days.
Okay, what we doing for the next 7 days?
We're going to post a romantic gesture that we've done for each other, so we can lead by example every day for the next 7 days.
So tomorrow morning we'll post.
There we go.
Post one All in Our Business. So check it out. Okay.
We're going to lead by example. We're going to show you some, and you share with us yours, and maybe we can do some of yours. There was one time there was like an ABC challenge or alphabet challenge. Where they were doing a date for each alphabet or something like that. But yeah, step out your comfort zone and love on your partner this week.
Yes, please do. So please take on this homework assignment. Take on the challenge. All right. Can y'all do that for us?
What's the challenge? Let us know again.
So do a romantic gesture for your partner and post it on your social media. And tag us either on our Instagram or tag us directly on our Facebook. Okay.
What's the easy one? Give somebody an easy just to help someone out. It's
I mean,
an
just
easy
like I
romantic
did
gesture.
today, just bring you some flowers. That's a romantic gesture. That ain't hard. Shit, you can find a man on the corner when you at the stop. When you at the stoplight. And get some roses or something for like $5-10, and take her home and say, "Hey, baby, I was thinking about you."
Get it done,
be
ladies and
surprised.
gentlemen. That is so true.
That bed might be rocking that night. Come on,
I'm
man.
going to get rocking. So next week, be sure to tune in as we discuss love languages and getting to know your partner's love language.
Yes, that's very important in a relationship. But before y'all go to bed tonight, after y'all, this is the end of the podcast. Make sure you blow out them candles, okay? Recork that wine that y'all was sipping on while y'all was listening to this episode, and head on in that bedroom to get a full night of love making. Can y'all do that?
Another challenge?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Turn out the lights.
Hey.
And let's get cozy.
Hey.
All right, we out of here, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Y'all have a good one. Thank you for listening in. Stay tuned for next week. We got another one for you. Love languages, all right?
That's right.
Tune in.
Tune in. Peace.
Peace.